Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about how you can get 40% click-through rates on your ad, or in other words, rate in which your ad gets clicked on Google Ads. If you don't know already, click-through rate has everything to do with your profit you're going to make. And not just because ads that are profitable already get more clicks. You get, in other words, basically a bigger share of the pie, bigger share of the market of people that are searching for your keywords and in your market every month. But there's an even bigger, or just as big, I should say, profit opportunity here, because the higher the click-through rate goes, the lower your cost per click goes due to Google's quality score system, And obviously lower cost per click for the same quality of clicks doesn't mean the quality has to change, because it doesn't. The more profit you're going to make. You're going to have a higher margin on the sales that you're making because you're paying less money per click and less money to acquire the customer than you did before by getting your click-through rates up. Now, the average click-through rate on search ads, if you don't know what it is, it's somewhere around 3.5% to 4%. Obviously, 40% click-through rates is 10 times that. If you get a 40% click-through rate on your ads and your competition's getting at most 7%, what do you think Google's going to prefer to do in terms of, there's 4 ads on the top of Google in competitive markets. If you didn't know, there's usually 10 people cycling in and out of those ad spots. They're constantly trying to find the ads that work the best for their users. What do you think Google's going to do when they see 40% click-through rates? They're going to show you almost 100% of the time. They're going to show you for the most keywords and with the most reach. Why? Because Google's goal is to give users what they want so that they come back to Google and use it again, and more specifically, click on ads versus click on the organic listings. If they were not doing that, then they would, basically cut off their foot to, save themselves. People, if they gave the ad space to the person who spends the most, people would get an unoptimized experience. They click on the ad, they didn't get what they wanted, got frustrated. They're not going to click on ads in the future. So more than anything, Google wants to try to test the available ads of the people that are advertising on a set keyword, find out which ad gets the highest click-through rate, and then give almost all of the benefit to that person. 80% of people that run search ads, by the way, make little to no money. Either they don't know it because they don't have tracking set up, or they get what they can take, or they take what they can get, sorry. The top 20% on the other hand make tons of money, and your goal, 100% doing Google Ads, is to be in that 20%. To be in that 20%, you simply have to do 2 things. Highest click-through rate versus your competitors going for your same keywords. Highest conversion rate in terms of the clicks you do get turning into a lead or a sale. You do those 2 things in the top quintile or top 20% of the people that you're competing against in your market for those keywords, you're going to be the one that makes the piles of money. Everybody else doesn't. Google set up this system, by the way, to encourage people that do a poor job on those 2 things, and in other words, do a poor job helping their users, get filtered out, and then it leaves opportunities for new guys to come in to potentially, create a new standard for the people that are in the top 20% now. So just because you're making money today doesn't mean somebody can't come steal your thunder away. But for the 2 things that Google's looking for, and that determine if you're going to make little to nothing or piles of money, the click-through rate, when you are 10 times above everybody else, your position in that 20% is going to be locked in, baby. You are going to be making millions of dollars from your ads in most markets. And when you're not, you're just going to make a lot of money at a high margin, but not quite millions per year in terms of the volume, because there's not enough search volume in your market, by the way. So, getting the 40% click-through rate is going to give you about 4 times less cost per click. So if you have a 1.5% click-through rate, and you use my strategies here to get you to a 40% click-through rate, if you were paying $5 a click before, you're going to be paying $1.25 per click after. And to know ahead of time what this is going to do for your numbers, if you want to know how little that you're going to be paying for the same clicks after these methods are applied to your account, go to Google's keyword tool, search for your keywords. Whatever it says for the low range estimate for your keyword is going to be what you're going to be paying once you've implemented this for your business. The right way, of course, not just thinking you got it right, but these tips are easy. Anybody can do them. That's the difference in what you're paying now versus what you're going to be paying after these methods are instituted for your account. So with that said, I'll get into the strategy, how to actually get this 40% click-through rate. The first step in getting 40% click-through rates on Google Ads is to be in the right niche. So it's not just about the ad. That is a niche that has established users, meaning it's not a new market that you're trying to carve and develop a market for. It's not a new concept that there is an established market for. And the reason why that matters is because if someone's searching for something and you show up, if they don't know that they need to be clicking on it, obviously you can't get a good click-through rate no matter how good that ad is, unless you're saying like naked chicks or free money or something like that. So, but if you're in a market like towing services, that's an established market. People that search for towing services know what they're searching for, why they're searching for it. And therefore, with the right ad that gives people exactly what they want, you can get a 40% click-through rate. The other thing is to make sure when you employ these methods I'm giving you here on how to write your actual ad to get the 40% click-through rate, if your market is one in which people have a long research period before they buy, if they're going to be looking for college, to get into a university, obviously people think about that a long time before. So your click-through rate, no matter how good your ad is, can't get quite the click-through rates it could be in towing services, because when people search for towing, there is no research period. Therefore, you can get that upper end 40% click-through rate on your ads. Whereas if you use the same quality of ad and strategies I've given you here for a university, sorry, in that market, you might only get 15%. But you could still get 15%, which is already still 4 times what the other average person is getting in your market, and still will get you in that top 20%. In fact, not just top 20%, it'll get you in the top 1%. You are going to have the best ad, because the average person that comes about doing this, even if, by the way, if they hire an ad agency, because most ad agencies suck, they're not going to spend very much time and effort doing what they could be doing. Most people are just arrogant and they're lazy. And if you're not arrogant or lazy, you can have all the money almost for yourself. But even if you're in a market that does require a lot of research, it's a developing market, or there isn't a market yet, you can still get a 15% click-through rate with this method, or this methodology. The other thing that you need to be able to get to do the 40% click-through rate method is you need to be picking, part of it comes down to the keywords. You're saying, Corey, keywords, how does that have to do with click-through rates? Well, it has to do with the person. A lot of times you guys are picking keywords when you're actually trying to scrape and get every last lead in your market. You target keywords that people are sure they want to buy, and maybe they want to buy, maybe they don't. But a lot of you guys that have a small budget, particularly starting out, you guys need to be targeting the best keywords, not just any keyword. And best keywords are keywords that are non-arbitrary, in that when somebody searches for towing services, the 99.999% chance that person searching for that wants a tow from a tow company. If you type in towing by itself, it's a 50-50 chance. Maybe they want towing services. Maybe they want to know what towing is. Maybe they're asking about towing a trailer for their camping expedition. You get the point. So instead of you picking what the average person actually does when they set up their ads, and I know because I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of accounts in terms of how people set stuff up, running the PPC agency I do. They'll go ahead for towing services, a market like that, they'll go ahead and set up 10, 20, 30 keywords, and they'll expect those keywords to just cover everybody in their market. Why? Because they don't know any better. Some people are just too lazy. What you should be doing, if you're not trying to spend every last dollar you can already, like I said, and get every customer in the market, because you're just trying to make some money so you can reinvest and then get more ad spend going and then keep doing that like the average person has to do when they're starting out, because they're not starting out with tons of money in the bank. You pick the keywords that have the highest statistical likelihood of wanting what your service actually or product actually is. So you get extremely selective about your keywords. You pick out of the possible keywords you could pick, basically, you pick 10% of the keywords. The 10% that are the most likely to actually have a customer searching versus not. And as just a small side to that, there's a lot of people also think that Google is like a billboard, and that if I put my ad up there and I just bid on the, even though I show up for towing, if they don't want towing services and my ad says towing services, they just won't click on my ad. And that's a really, really wrong way to think about what this is. Because, going back to what I was saying before, click-through rates dictate how much you're going to pay per click. So if you try to use Google like a billboard and try to have people see the ad and decide if they want to and read the ad, decide if they want to click on it or not, the people who don't want your towing service because they were searching towing for some other reason, going back to my previous example, that person that seen your ad and didn't need it, it cost you money. Google calls what they do PPC or pay-per-click. The reality is it's not pay-per-click at all. A lot of people don't understand this. You're paying per impression or paying per time your ad shows up. Why? Because if somebody doesn't click on your ad, that drops your click-through rate, which then raises your cost per click, which then raises your acquisition cost, which then decreases your margin. It goes all the way down the line. So you could think of what you're really paying for on Google is for your ad to show up, and every time it shows up, it costs you money. So to have an ad show up for somebody who doesn't need what you have, it's costing you money every single time you do that, and it bleeds more and more out of you. The more more people who don't need what you have see that ad, and if you obviously have too much, you don't make money anymore. And even if you think you did okay, if you're not in the top 20%, you're not making much money anyway. Like I was mentioning before, the top 20% makes 80+% of the money, basically. So, respectively, your goal to make sure also that you get the 40% click-through rates that I'm claiming you can get here, which you absolutely can get it, you need to make sure you're showing up for people that they don't even if they didn't read your ad, it wouldn't matter, because if they clicked through and called, 100% of those people, or basically virtually 100% of those people who call, wouldn't be able to buy from you. That's your goal, not to show up and have people read the ad. Because by the way, not only will a lot of people, obviously, if you had bid on the word towing and you were a towing service, a lot of the people that searched for that wouldn't actually need a towing service, and then that bleeds, cuts into your margins just by doing with that alone. People are half asleep when they search on Google. What do people do on Google now? They type in what they want and they expect Google to think for them. They expect Google to suggest whatever there's being suggested to them in the search results is whatever the person was thinking. And then they just click on it without reading the ad. And so if you're expecting them to read the ad to decide if they need what you have, half the people who click on your ad aren't going to read it. So therefore, you're going to be doubling your acquisition cost by having your ad show up in places, in other words, it shouldn't be showing up, or even though it could show up for some people and could be beneficial for some people searching for that, the other people that wouldn't benefit are going to ultimately click on your ad and waste your money because they're not going to read your ad. And yes, I told you, you're ultimately just paying for the ad to show up, not for a click. So what does it matter if they click or not accidentally? Well, what's going to happen is they're going to get to your page, and some of those people are going to be like, what the fuck? I don't want a service, I go back to Google, and then that in and itself is going to count against you, because Google also grades you on the conversion rate of their traffic. And if you're baiting and switching people, or what seems like it, then they're actually going to charge you more per click for that as well. Plus, people are going to call and waste your time and waste your salespeople's time, cutting into your margins as well. So, long story short, you show up for the keywords that you know if they're searching for that, they could buy from you, period. And what keywords like that, and obviously it's going to vary market to market, but these are going to be keywords, what I call buying terms, where they use such as near me, clinics, if you're running a local medical clinic, services, quotes, if you're running an insurance company, quotes is a great one. Car insurance quotes, because when you type in car insurance, who knows what you want, but if you type in car insurance quote, you know what that person wants now. They use the word straight out buy. For e-commerce, this is big. For sale, same thing in e-commerce, it's big. You know what that person wants when they're typing in those terms, in addition to the core term or word that represents your product. Order, book. If you're looking for a restaurant, book would be a good one. So, et cetera, et cetera. So you get the general idea. Instead of just picking 10, 20, 30 keywords and calling it a day and hoping those 20 keywords cover the 5,000 ways people can search, you go ahead and you do way more work than the average person. Find the few hundred keywords in Google Keyword Tool and SpyFu and through your research that people type in terms of the various ways people type in and look for your product or service, and then find the ones that have clear intent to buy. And only bid on those at first until you've made so much you cannot make another dollar from them. Then if you want to go into the more arbitrary terms, you do it then. With and you do it with the money that you made starting out with the for sure stuff that almost works right away, or work much faster because it requires no optimization time. And you peel off 10% of what you're making for what you're doing already, put it towards some of these more arbitrary terms, know that it isn't going to work for a long time or at all on certain terms, but you're fine with it because you know eventually if you optimize it enough, it'll eventually work. But you start with the easy low-hanging fruit. Anyway, so you got to pick the right keywords to get the 40% click-through rate, all right? Obviously, like I said, be in a market where it's not a developing market. From here, it all comes down to the ad itself, assuming you got the right market, right keyword. And 3 things within that. First of all, you got to be able to find out what customers/clients want more than anything. For towing service, what we found out was they want you to get there fast, or as fast as possible, or they want the person, in other words, that's going to get there as fast as possible, which makes sense, right? They also want to know that you're cheap, and respectively, the cheapest possible person they can get. Okay? So you build that into the ad. A lot of you guys writing ads write some generic bullshit the person doesn't give a shit about in the first place. What is the 1 or 2 or 3 things that they know they want to know to buy? What is it? Find out from your salespeople. What do people ask about? Usually it's just 1 or 2 things. If you say that 1 or 2 things in your ad, nobody else is willing to do that in their ad, or don't know, or whatever, don't care to, your ad just sticks out as the obvious choice to click on just from that one thing alone. So our ad that says towing service, 30-minute response, competitive rates, hits on the 2 main things that they want: fast, cheap. And specifically, the more specific you can be in your language, the better that ad is going to almost typically work. So instead of saying, we're fast, which is what a lot of you guys are going to try doing, you want to say 30 minutes response. And by the way, a little hack, if you use specific, even more specific numbers, you say 27-minute response time, people will think it's more real because you're being more specific. But you get the general gist of what I'm talking about. You got to know what your market wants more than anything. What do they want? If they could have anything they could get, how can you give that to them or word it so it seems at least like they're going to get it? And be specific as possible so it seems as real as possible. So once you find that out, you'll build that within your ad. You're going to add the keyword in the headline and description of the ad, which is the second part of this formula to get the 40% click-through rates. So going back to my ad example in the towing space, towing service, assuming the keyword that you're bidding on is towing service, which by the way, in order to do this well, all your keywords, you're going to need not just 10, 20, 30 keywords the average person's going to do. You're going to need 1,000 keywords or 500 or whatever to get all the ways that people are searching for this service or product, so you can then have a custom-built ad for every single variant. And yes, it sounds crazy, but the fucking results are off the charts. 40% click-through rate makes you 4 times the money. For what it, making a custom ad for every keyword seems acceptable. And it is, especially when you can outsource it to a person to do for you once you've given an example of how to build it out on a screen sharing video. So, but if the keyword is towing service, you don't want towing company in the ad or, like local towing services. No, you want towing service, period. And every ad's going to follow that same model where the keyword they type in is going to be in the first headline of the ad every single time, and you're going to pin it in the first position. Why? Because that 100% always gets the highest click-through rates. I don't care if you want to argue with me. I don't care. I've set up thousands of these ads. I know how to get the highest click-through rate, and it's putting the keyword in the first headline and pinning that headline first. Sometimes you'll put a deviance in there. Like if they're typing in towing companies, you don't want to put towing companies in the ad because that looks robotic. You put towing company, but you get the general idea. You either put the verbatim what they searched, or you kind of truncate it if it won't fit, or you tweak it so it sounds like it isn't a robotic, like regurgitated response, because that will work against you if they think a robot created the ad, which is also why you don't want to use dynamic keyword insertion in your ads. The only space that really works great that I've seen is like in the software space, because the keyword variants are too dispersed. Because you're much better off writing a handwritten ad for every keyword, because you can tailor what you had to not seem robotic, because people catch on to that. So anyway, you put the keyword in the ad. And the last part of the formula to get the 40% is to put the location in the ad for a service or a local brick and mortar product seller. So going back to the ad example again here, towing service, Long Beach, 30-minute response, competitive rates. If you saw this ad, it would be obvious that you would want to click on that one first, because it tells you exactly what you want to know. For a local service, by the way, you want to know, can you do it? Do you cover my area? Typically, can I trust you is the other one. For a towing service, they don't give a shit if they can trust you or not. They just assume it, because it's not a big decision. They're spending $100. Can you get there fast? And do you cover my area? And is it a cheap price? It's far, far, far more important. And we don't just guess. We do market research. We ask our sales department, what are the most common questions? We audit our emails that come in, that kind of thing. So anyway, with that said, put the towing service, Long Beach, put the keyword in the first headline. If you can fit the city in with the first headline, you put it there. If it can't fit it in there, you put the city in the second headline, because the city always is going to assure that user that you cover their area. And when they are looking at 4 ads and they're trying to decide which one to pick from, when it's going to be that person's city. So if they're in Long Beach searching, even though they didn't type in Long Beach, you're putting Long Beach in the ad to assure them that you cover their area. Okay? And You obviously, if you have a brick and mortar store, you wouldn't necessarily do where they're located. You would put like not your area, not your the city that your business is in, but like the city of the overall metro area, so that they know that you cover their area, but without like misrepresenting yourself. But anyway, it's towing service Long Beach, 30 minutes response. So they know right away. Yes, you can do it. Which you put the keyword in the headline, so I know that. You cover my area, yes, because you said that up front. I know you can get there fast because you said 30-minute response, and I believe it because you used the word 30 minutes, which stands out, and it sounds realistic, or it sounds real because you're so specific. And by the way, anytime you put numbers in an ad, that gets click-through rates up. And then the third headline, you said competitive rates, which tells me that you offer a good price. Even better here would just say lowest price or lowest price guaranteed. If you could offer that, now would get better response. Even better than that, going back to the specific thing, $99 tow fee, which gives them exactly what they want at that point, if you can do it. That would be the best of the best of the best. So they know exactly how fast it's going to get there and exactly how much it's going to cost, and that you cover my area. What else could you ask for at that point? So that's the general formula for a local business. If you're in a space, most local spaces, most local niches, they want to also know if they can trust you. That's important. That's going to be 90% of local businesses. In that case, we found through many millions of dollars of testing that if you can say A+ BBB rated is the easiest way in the shortest amount of time to communicate you can be trusted, which is what this game is. How can we convey what the user needs to know in the shortest amount of time possible? Because that makes it easiest for them. Easy equals high response. If you're not BBB rated, you pay to get it. If you can't or won't do that, then you say how long you've been in business, as long as you have started in the last 5 years, and you say in business since 1984, whatever. Because that also, everybody knows what that is. Part of what you're doing here is you're not trying to get fancy. Whatever you say, the way you say it should be universally understood without having to think very hard. Everybody knows when you say in business since 2008 what that is. Just like everybody knows what A+ BBB rating is without having to think. You don't want, the harder users have to think, the less likely they are to comprehend it in just a split second that you have when they scan your ad with their eyeballs. So for a local business, instead of, if you're in a business that requires any kind of trust, instead of saying competitive rates, you should go the A+ BBB or in business sense angle, given they want to know, can you do it? Can you cover my area? Can I trust you? Some other markets where the trust isn't there or needed, you explain that you can get it. Generally, it's fast. How fast can you do it, and what's the price? Guaranteed lowest rate, that also works very, very good. But that's a general way to do it for a local business. Now, if you're I'll take a quick side here. If you're a local product, brick and mortar product seller, what a lot of you guys don't do is you don't market the products that they're looking for. If you have a furniture store, you can actually advertise on furniture stores near me and keywords like that. But the real bread and butter is targeting people looking for leather couches. And then that person that's normally starting to look online, you have your ad show up saying leather couches, local in 52847. So they know that you're local, which makes them more likely to click on yours because, if I want a couch, I can get it today. I just have to go down to the store. Then you send them to your website and you show them right away that you're local, where you're at, picture of your outside of your store, a map of where you're at, and then a way to immediately start looking at all the leather couches so they can go browse online and know before they come in, you have a couch that they want. That's the magic, really, really fantastic formula for local brick and mortar. But it's all the same thing. You put in the keyword of what they were looking for, leather couches. You say the area that they're in, zip code or city. And then you say, for like the third headline, because you don't really need to be trusted, and that like for a local furniture store as much, you could say 27 models available and browse online, which would be a way to convey that if you click through this ad, you're not just going to get the address to our store, you're actually going to get to browse online. I would actually specifically put that, browse online, or in the description if you can't fit it real well in the ad. Browse our large selection of browse our local leather couch selection online, whatever. You get my general idea there. So that's local brick and mortar product sellers. If you're a national service company, the formula is also the same. All we're doing is just tweaking this a little bit each time. But for a national service, a lot of you guys don't actually target people locally like you should. Or regional would also be, a regional service company would be the same thing. So in other words, instead of just saying, like if you have a foundation repair company and you're serving 10 states, instead of just saying, foundation repair, A plus BBB rated, you put foundation repair in the name of the person's city, if they're in a major city. Otherwise, foundation repair in, and then the name of their state, so that they know you're local right away. Because mostly, for a foundation repair company, maybe they have some other people that you're competing with have the city or the state that the user is in the ad already. But for national services in specific, all the other ads won't have any kind of city or state name in the ad. So if you're searching for product design companies, and you're looking for product design companies as a keyword, and you say product design companies in Chicago in your ad, and that person's in Chicago, they're selecting your ad first, like every time. And you may be saying, well, Corey, that's kind of misrepresenting the situation, and I can't serve them in Chicago. The reality is, as you probably already know, how many people actually come into your office anymore? Almost nobody. You virtually just don't even need an office anymore. Saying Chicago in the ad will triple the click-through rate in and itself, because nobody else is doing it. And when you get on the phone, yeah, maybe they realize at some point that you aren't in Chicago, but if you know you can deliver what you have over the phone, it doesn't even matter. For the very few people that will be discouraged about that, they'll know up front, and that's it. But 98% of people aren't going to care you're not local. But you're saying, but why? If they don't care that you're not local, why would that get them to click on the ad more? It just does. You're psychologically trained to click on something you're most familiar with, and when you have your city in the ad, you're just more likely to click on it because it's familiar. So for a national service company, that's kind of also the secret touch that gets you way, way over everybody else's click-through rate. So you put the keyword and then the location, and then also you would want to say how something in there that why you're trusted. 500 plus reviews on Trustpilot. You could say there's some other ways to quickly convey trust to the user, but and obviously it's going to take you some time to set up a campaign for every city and every state across the country to target everybody nationwide. But when you get ultimately minimum 15% click-through rates here, for a national service company, it'd probably be closer to like 15 than the 40. The results are going to be so good, you're going to be happy. You're going to be coming back to this video and say, I'm making so much money now, Corey. Thank you so much for getting me off my butt to do this for my company. So anyway, national service company, that would be more so your style. Now, kind of the only thing I haven't discussed yet in terms of different business types is e-commerce. For e-commerce, here's the general formula that'll get you at least 15% click-through rates on your ad, if not more, which is you're targeting individual items that people are searching for. It might be a nut, bolt, or screw. Let's say you were selling specific types of washers. Not clothes washers, but for a bolt, like for hardware, basically. If somebody's searching for 1/4-inch washers, you're going to say, first of all, like I said before, you're going to target the keyword only if they use the word buy or for sale. 1/4-inch washers for sale, buy 1/4-inch washers, which puts you way ahead of the game and in position in the first place to even get the 40% click-through rate that you want. From there, here's exactly how you word the ad. I'll give you a free copywriting lesson here. Buy, insert the name of the product, 1/4-inch washers, which buy is, if that's in the keyword, you would put that in there anyway. But even if buy wasn't in the keyword, you would put buy 1/4-inch washers, and then only, and then the price of the washers. You know, I know the price may vary in that situation depending on how many you buy, but that's the general formula that gives exactly what the user wants. And with everybody else dicking around saying washers for sale, come here to buy washers, and you have this laser targeted thing that tells them exactly, not just kind of what they want to know, exactly what they want to know. And then on top of it, you use an image ad asset or ad extension as they used to call it, and you put a picture of the washer there, so it looks like a shopping ad at the end of the day where it says buy 1/4-inch washers, only $2.95 per 1,000, and then it shows a picture of the washer. What else could they be asking for? And then once they click on that ad, they know exactly what they're getting. High conversion rates and everything else. Or as high as a conversion rate as you're going to get from a search ad, because at that point, so much is revealed to the user that they cared about that virtually, why would they have a reason not to buy at that point? So, as a small side note that I was going to mention before, one of the great things about, so I mentioned mainly how to structure your headline, which gets you most of your click-through rate, nailing that right. But the description part of your ad, you'll notice that if you take the keyword that people are typing in, and you can do this obviously if you're writing a custom ad for every keyword, which by the way, you need one unique ad group for each keyword to make sure that you have a laser targeted ad that you've written for that keyword when that specific keyword's typed in. But with that, not only can you make, in that situation, having one keyword per ad group, which is also called the SKAG method, you can have that first headline always say the keyword back to them so you get maximum click-through rates and get your 40% click-through rate. But also in your description, I recommend putting that keyword as they type it in or as the ad group has the keyword as well, because the description, what the user types into Google, if that's also in the description of the ad, it ends up being bolded in black, which makes it even more like eye candy to the user. So they right away see exactly what they searched in, that you cover their area, and that you're trusted because you're BBB A+ rated. Your description also says exactly what they were looking for as well, which makes it even more likely for them to click, which also is going to add to getting you that 40% number here in terms of the click-through rate. So anyway, for e-commerce, that's the formula. I gave you the formula for national service companies and local brick and mortar and then local services. That pretty much covers the gamut on the type of companies and businesses that you could want and need to write an ad for to achieve this 40% click-through rate mark. By the way, if you are not able to get at least 15% click-through rates on your ad using this method, contact us. I will personally write you an ad. No strings attached. Contact my agency at Guarantee PPC. I'll give you the formula that works for your ad. Then from there, you can go ahead and use that formula. You can use that ad formula to build out the rest of your account. And it's the idea that counts, right? Once you have that idea about the thing that'll work, then you're off to the races. Now, obviously, I can't do, if you're in a new market I haven't worked in before, which that's maybe not likely because I've worked in hundreds of markets already in the last 15 years. But if I haven't been in your market before, I'd have to ask you some questions about what people are asking for the most. And then I would be able to build that within your ad. But I will certainly help you out if you need the seed idea. I'll give you the seed idea. Anyway, with that said, that's the formula that I'm going to follow on our clients' ads to guarantee the results. Literally speaking, obviously there's small nuances to this that I can't convey in this video because every business is a little bit different, but I gave you enough information that you should be able to do this for your, for yourself almost for sure. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel, as I have a ton of other content on this channel that'll turn you into an absolute PPC master and just crush your competition into an absolute fine dust. You know, want to be in the top 20%, but the top 1% in your market? The information on this channel will help you do it, given you're getting it from somebody who manages several dozen PPC accounts at any given time for different clients and, obviously different markets, to give you the information I give you on this channel. I give you the exact methods that work as well as the stuff that doesn't work so you can stay away from it. It's the best, most actionable advice you're going to find on YouTube or even on the web for that matter in terms of how to actually make money with PPC, and lots of it. So you should damn well subscribe. If you like the channel, by the way, you also can find my blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, where you're also going to be able to find great information on how to do PPC methods that are guaranteed to work and that we use to guarantee results for our clients there. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you have any, if you're working on your PPC and it's, what you find is you don't have time to build out these campaigns or manage your campaigns, of course, we offer a PPC management service here. That's what we do. This is all we do is PPC here and manage people's campaigns. But if you did not want to outsource your PPC to a PPC management agency, let me just tell you that apart from that, we have a separate service where we offer basically campaign templates that work for certain markets. Either we build out templates for a client, but what I'm specifically mentioning here is we offer, if we've worked in your market before, which we've worked in hundreds of markets before and gotten results in your market already, instead of starting from scratch and building your stuff up from scratch, you can literally use the templates we have already developed and know work in that market and developed over years for a client in that industry you're in the past, and copy and paste those results into your campaigns for your market. We also have landing page templates that go with that because we also do that at our firm. And with that, you would basically be able to know what results you could get in your market before you even used any of the templates we have, but be able to get results with basically almost no work. Once you use the templates that we already know work in your market, the results would be pretty much there right away. For the most part, there's some ramp up time on ads no matter how good they are because they have to be broken in with Google's ad algorithm, but for the most part, it would be silly not to take advantage of what we're offering here, given there's no way that what the money it's going to take you to find out everything on your own is going to be less than what we're going to charge as a one-time fee for these templates. So anyway, if you're interested in seeing if we've gotten results in your market so we can get you templates like that, just let us know. We'll let you know what we have. And ultimately, lots of people have been contacting us to use templates like this to start totally new businesses that they're not even in now in other markets. Starting the campaigns up, knowing they have the best campaign in their local market. They can take the leads, outsource them to another business partner in the area, charge 10 or 20% more for the services, or take 10-20% off the top for themselves, and have a mostly passive income business just by having the best campaign in that market to use right out the gate. Mostly local services. But anyway, that's just if you're looking to start a new business, that's a fantastic way to start a business. Taking a campaign that works, outsourcing the work, marking up the price, or taking a cut out for yourself. But with that said, I'll wrap it up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you back on my next video where we have another good PPC strategy for you to be able to learn and take advantage of for yourself there as well. See you later.